As oil prices in Korea continue to be driven up by increasing international oil prices, the government announced that the nation's oil tax would be lowered for the first time in 10 years. The oil tax reduction hopes to ease the financial burden on small businessmen or ordinary Koreans, but some point out that the high-income class stands to benefit more from it.
Last week, gasoline prices in Seoul averaged nearly 1,761 per liter. The national average stood at 1,675 won, which is an increase of more than 15 won in just 1 week. The average gas price has reached a 4-year high as it has been on the rise for 15 straight weeks since the 4th week of June. Korea's oil prices are driven up by rising international oil prices, including Dubai's crude, which is Korea's main oil import, that has exceeded $80 a barrel. Anytime oil prices go up, fingers are pointed at Korea's oil tax levied on fuels. Depending on the fuel type, the oil tax accounts for more than 50% of the price. High oil taxes end up adding more financial burden on consumers. Consequently, the government has announced that it would lower the tax on energy for transportation. The flexible tax rate of 30% basic oil tax will be lowered. A 10% reduction would make gasoline and diesel fuel cheaper by 82 won and 57 won respectively. A 20% reduction would save consumers twice as much. This tax reduction measure would be enforced early next month at the earliest. The government hopes to ease the burden on small businesses and the everyday citizen and to eventually boost domestic spending. But the problem is that the reduction rate is the same across the board. Transport costs of businesses will be lowered, but the biggest benefit would go to the high-income class that tends to drive passenger cars more often.
서민들은 보통 대중교통을 많이 이용을 하고요. 고소득층이 자가용을 이용하기 때문에 오히려 소득 양극화 문제를 벌리는, 심화시키는 그런 부작용도 우리가 우려할 수 있습니다.
This is the first oil tax reduction in 10 years since the global financial meltdown in 2008.